Weekly, Brianna T, FB. Oh, and look who waltzed into the studio. It's Scituate's real estate maven.
Ooh,
and
I like that.
Sometimes fan of the show, Siobhan Hunter.
Consistently a fan, actually.
Oh, I have the email.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
No, I
Don't
wasn't
make her
fan.
angry. Don't make her.
No,
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
It
We're
wasn't
gonna-
a,
I have the email. We're going to
that
talk
was
about
a mean
it.
one. It was a good one.
It felt mean. It felt mean. We'll talk. We'll talk. She is a fan, though. She's seen the show, so you know we do some headlines.
Yes.
Yes. Let's get straight to it. She's got lots to talk and say about things too. So first, it's all about that senior center. We got our new timeline for it, sort of how it's all going to play out. But it all could be derailed because guess what? We got a lawsuits on our hand. That's right, a big lawsuit. But first, let's give you the lowdown. So the operations, the project manager spoke at the COA. If you're not familiar with the senior center, what we're talking about, it's at that Gates property. It calls for that C wing to come down. The new standalone senior center goes there. The A wing, which houses the rec department, gets a little makeover. They get a new roof. They get an elevator. That B wing, as we all know, people have opinions. It stays the same as is. Okay, so the bids are going out now. We should have something back in place by December of this year, December 2019. And if all goes as planned, it should take 1 year. So by December 2020, we should have this new senior center. But like I said, we got the lawsuit. Who would file a lawsuit? The abutters. That's right next to that C wing where that standalone is going. So what are they? What's the lawsuit all about? Here is the operating project manager, Steve Kirby. Take a listen.
Well, it was a couple things. Without going into a lot of the details, but it was essentially that the decision by the planning board exceeded their authority as it applied to the zoning bylaws, and I think it was really predicated on a couple things of traffic safety and parking.
And the entrance. The
Right.
entrance
That was
removed.
the traffic safety part of it, and how it affected their driveway.
Okay, so did the planning board exceed its authority? And also, it's that entrance. So let's go back. Let's look at this map once again. So if you look at that senior center and the abutters, you see the traffic. It's moving out. That's over to the left. See the arrow how it goes out? Now,
Yes.
let's look at the current layout there. So this is the current C wing, you're right? So you see that C wing, the current one on the left, the abutters are on the right. This is the current. Now, here's the proposed. Okay, so you see that. Now, look, development teams are just moving ahead with that. Now, Siobhan, because we got to talk about this. I mean, from a real estate standpoint, I was talking to Brianna about this. I feel like, especially in a community that is, it's an older community, wouldn't you want to be near a senior center?
I mean, they're not going to be party animals, so that's one
It's
good
true.
thing. And if there was a school there before, I don't see, and I don't want to make anyone mad, but
We make everyone mad.
all right.
So.
Well, in that case,
Like you sometimes.
yeah, I wasn't mad. I don't think there's much of a difference between. I mean, there was something there before. It's not like. It was,
And you would think school buses, right?
When there were a lot at the meetings, there were a lot of arguments about that too. And they said, look, you're arguing about a senior center, but before there was a school there, and there was a lot more traffic there.
Right.
because there's probably more kids than seniors.
But I think the abutters are saying though that this entrance now is right by their driveway, and that
As
is
opposed to
that's a problem. That's a zoning violation according, I think, to these abutters. So we'll see. So that appeal, it's in the works. But like I said, the development, the bids are still going out. We'll see how that all plays out. So keep an eye on that. Speaking of development, we got to talk about down on 3A across from Kennedy's, the Herringbrook Meadows. You've seen all that destruction and construction going on.
That
You know
was
about
quick
this,
and fast.
right?
Yeah.
Not too much to say here. A lot of people are. If you go on social media and people are like, "What is this?" I mean, there's some funny comments. People are like, "It's going to be a new pool," or they're like, "It's a new cat park," or something like that. But no, it is. It is a 60 unit condo. Okay, but it is.
So it's across
Sorry.
from Kennedy's.
You're correct. Yes. So if you don't know, by the way, this is a 40B property.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to sort of explain that, Siobhan, for people that think it is low income?
Well,
40B. What is that?
in the South Shore, low income is pretty relative. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to qualify. There's single households, there's family households. So, I wouldn't say it's low income, especially if you buy a drink in the South Shore. You know, it's very costly to live here. So, And I believe, I don't know if these are apartments or not. I don't know too much about the project itself, but I wouldn't say it's low income. But I mean, housing is tough. I mean, for
Sure.
anyone that's tried to afford an apartment or get one, I mean, $2,500 and $2,000. That's
Me.
a lot.
Exactly.
Brianna.
Yeah.
She's working on a condo. We'll talk later.
Good.
But, yes. But
No,
I mean,
exactly.
It's expensive.
It's
to live
impossible
here.
to live in this area specifically.
Right, especially if you're a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're not making a ton of money, but this is what you want to do, it would behoove you to live in this area.
Right, and I
Plus,
think
we all love
people.
Scituate.
True, exactly.
Yes.
Good
Yeah.
pandering there.
Thank you.
I think that people equate affordable housing with low income
Correct,
housing.
correct.
Which is not.
No.
Equitable.
No.
No.
Okay, I want to go to, speaking of, we're talking real estate, let's mention briefly that dog park. Now, you know, the dog park had opened, it was a good event, it was fun. When we were out there, someone said to me, this is going to be great for the real estate market. As a real estate agent, yes?
As in it would increase property values?
I don't think you'll see a definitive rise, in sales, but I think any benefit for the town would be great. I mean, golf courses, we have a fantastic front street, we got restaurants and everything. I think anything that is a benefit to living here brings up property value.
By the way, and if you've been to that dog park, especially on the weekends, packed.
Jammed.
Packed. That
Absolutely.
parking lot is full. But we warned you. There's going to be drama on social media. Let it start. What do we have, Brianna?
So, a gentle reminder that the
Read that
Scituate
one.
Dog
Yep.
Park advises on their signage that children under 12 should not be allowed in the park. This person posted, I've seen numerous owners leave the park because their toddlers were inside and they were afraid of the dogs in the park. Isn't that ironic? Like you'd have to leave because you're afraid of the dogs in the dog park?
Yeah.
So everyone kind of jumped on, and as social media does, piled on. Definitely shouldn't bring young children, because if the dogs are all running and playing, it's not the dog's fault if the little ones get knocked over.
Okay, you've got a little one. Let's talk about it. We're okay. Are we okay to show the picture of him?
Oh, yes.
Declan, there's our boy. Here's our boy. She is in trouble, but you are in trouble. We got to talk about the boy real quick. I mean, we'll get to him at the dog
Okay.
park. So you've said this hysterical. You're known as Siobhan Hunter now. When Declan gets older, you're going to be known as.
Declan's mom. So I've already, it's okay. It's fine, but I know it's coming. So he's 4, and he doesn't like jumpy dogs. There was an incident with a dog jumping on him when he was like 2.
Oh, yeah.
So I can appreciate, I wouldn't bring my 4-year-old in there, but
wouldn't.
also as a mom that's on my own, you can't manage both. So I think it's just, I wouldn't bring my toddler in there. So I think it's a good rule, especially having watched as many Judge Judy's as I have.
It's true.
I mean, what are they mostly about? Dog bites and everything like that. So
And you know what? It's really true. Like children that get jumped or attacked by dogs as kids are scarred for life.
Oh yeah,
You'll
that was
never
my
go back.
sister. Absolutely. My
Yeah.
sister's like to this day afraid of dogs that are not our own because she was jumped on.
and especially when there's other dogs around. I mean, there could be mayhem, but I mean, as long as everyone's responsible dog owner, I think everything will work out well.
Be responsible
Yes.
with those dogs.
Well, that
Yes.
one, by the way, that won't be the end of the drama over there. We're going to keep an eye on
Yeah.
that. A quick reminder about the master plan meeting, October 22nd, over at the Gates Dining Commons. Siobhan, from any thoughts? What do you think is important for the town?
Ooh.
I'm going to say number 1, having a whole house water filter myself, I'm going to go to water because that's a
Good.
big
Yep.
thing. And I think we're struggling with that. I know everyone's putting in 150%, and I don't doubt that, but I mean, it's a problem.
It is.
So I'm hoping in the next year or so, hopefully, it won't be, but right now that's a big one. And people, even from a real estate aspect, they hear about it. So, I mean, it's in the news, so the first concern is the water issue. Where is it and all of that.
Ooh,
so.
can I divert off that?
Yes.
Not to derail the show, but
Yeah.
they were saying at the last selectman meeting that a water moratorium or something that would lower property values. Do you have a comment on that?
I mean, I don't know if it would lower it. I mean, I'm looking at the greater good.
Sure.
So overall, if we benefit from it, then I think that's what's important, because the brown water thing is an issue. So as long as we have enough water and it's
Right.
not brown, I think overall that's going to be
The key.
The key, exactly.
We talked briefly on the show before about another real estate agent said he was concerned that individuals trying to bring national attention to the brown water
Yes.
situation here in Scituate is going to lower the real estate market. It's going to hurt our prices.
Absolutely. I mean, when Aaron Brockovich gets involved, you know, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
You know,
Agreed.
So, yes. I mean, it needs to be addressed, and then it can go away.
Yeah.
So
Exactly, yes.
once we hit the nail on the head, then we're done, and it's over with. And it's
So make sure you get involved with that October 22nd master plan meeting. Go there. It's interactive. You use your phone or your little clickers. It's good. It's a fun time.
that keeps it interesting.
All right, MCAS results are out. MCAS, don't know what that is. It is the Massachusetts Comprehensive Assessment System. Statewide sort of tests all these, a bunch of kids take. You probably took
course
some?
I took them
Yes,
every
yes.
year.
It was started in 93. In 93.
I'm not going to date myself.
Area results came out, area for the entire state came out a while ago. This past week, individuals, so families, the individual children got them. Now, it involves science, English, the language. We're going to talk specifically about math. So the math results are in. We're not going to go into how our numbers and all of that. And you can spin it however you want. You can say they're bad, they're okay, they're good, depending on how you look at it. But what I do want to talk about is this specifically. So over time, this math test, in a short amount of time actually, it changes. All right. So for instance, the test you took is not the test they're taking now.
Sure, because the way of math is different.
Well,
The way they're teaching it, or
Well, this is what came up. So at the school committee meeting, someone said, why is this test changing? Math doesn't necessarily change, meaning 1 + 1 always equals 2, and 2 divided by 8 is,
What? 2 divided by 8?
or 8 divided by 2.
test
Four.
for you, Scituate.
Okay, so the point is, someone said, look, this doesn't make sense. Why do we have to change if it just stays the same? I want you to listen to our superintendent, Ron Griffin, and how he addressed that.
When we were all in school, we were all taught math in a certain way. For me, I was taught very rote math. I got a worksheet, I did 1 through 31 odd, I got the answers, I saw how many I got wrong, I redid those, like that was math for years, right? And I see all the nodding heads, like, yeah, that was my experience as a kid, and now we're all adults, and look, we're successful adults. A large proportion of America was failed with that approach to teaching math. Because if you survey the average American and say, like, are you good at math? Do you like math? What's your privilege to math? A large proportion says no to all of those. So we should change the way we teach math in America. We absolutely should. And the way that all of us learned math happened to work for us. And we're generally successful people here at 10 o'clock at night, like trying to lead a community in education, right? So we are a self-selecting group here. And even some of us would probably say, like, I don't know if I like that much math. So the intention of the new strategies that our teachers use is to try to broaden that, to let more kids access math and do it well, so that when they're asked, when they're adults, can you do math? Do you feel confident? A larger majority's answer is yes. Whether they even use calculus or not in their day-to-day lives, we want them to feel like they can have a success at it and have it as a tool and an option for them.
Well, I
gotta
hate math, so.
Oh my God, I still have nightmares about it.
Me too.
Like when I'm having nightmares about math, it's not a good morning.
Isn't that true? I mean, I think he's one of the most well-spoken men.
Yes.
Really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hands
Yep.
down. Speaking of that, school committee, by the way, they are, you saw them there, they were in the high school library. They're moving their meetings back to the Gates Dining Commons, so make sure you do that. And also the big news with them, we're going to start putting them on YouTube. Yes, that's exciting. You'll be able to see those.
Nice.
The things we get excited
I know.
about.
Wow, by the way, speaking of schools, we got to talk about the over at the high school, the Scituate Drama Club.
Cool.
Big Apps Drama. It's all about their fall musical. Next month in November comes out. Here it is. It's 1776. Now, if you aren't familiar with this, it's a popular musical about the nation's founding. Now, it's praised for its script and score. So, where's this drama coming from, or where are some grumblings, if you will? Let's take a look at the cast. What do you think about the cast? This is the principal cast of the show. What do you think?
Oh, they're all boys.
They're all boys.
Is that what I'm
nice
supposed to
work.
They're
pick up on?
all boys.
Yeah.
All the main characters. Now,
Oh, I hate that.
there's grumbling,
But what? Sorry, go ahead.
especially in today's day and age.
But they obviously picked this musical knowing that.
Correct.
So it's the fault of whoever picked
Well,
it. And
Can't
women can
girls?
play the boys'
Right.
parts.
Right, and
Look
that's
at
what
Peter Pan.
and that is what they're having to do. With that said, though, there are a lot of strong female leads within this school, and without naming names, some of them have opted not even to partake in this because they've said there are no strong roles for females within
I
this.
mean, what is the hardest role to play? I mean, you're just really challenging yourself.
Also,
right?
who picked this? Like, when I went here, the students had some sort of say in the musical. If I remember correctly.
I don't know the backstory to how that is selected.
Interesting.
So gremlins, no, they won't necessarily. No one wants to necessarily speak out about it, but
You would also think that, like, traditionally in high school theater production groups, there are very few boys. So it's strange that you'd pick a musical that's very boy heavy.
yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a very popular theater production.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
I see.
And that does. It comes out. I think in the end of October is when they're doing. There are 3 performances. They do 1 on Friday and then 2 on a Saturday. So keep.
so they're going forward with
Oh,
that.
they're in there. Yep,
Good.
it's all underway.
Interesting.
Okay.
It's gonna be a good one.
I've got to mention something. This really flew under my radar, but this one caught a little story that is going on involving the Scituate Chamber of Commerce. Isn't this correct?
Well, it's not it's nothing bad.
Oh, so there's a new map. There's a new map that just came out. Maybe many of you have seen it, and you have some thoughts about this map. Is this correct?
Well, I mean, Jerry,
She's all
I
nervous.
still like you.
Disclaimer.
Jerry.
I mean, I feel like Van White here, but the map itself is a little outdated, as we saw on Facebook.
This is, look, Siobhan's not alone in this. The people
No,
have got onto
yeah,
this,
They're
yeah.
picking up like Nebraska Road, and I don't know if it's a paper road, which is like a road that might have happened, but it didn't, but they put it there. But also being on a newer street, Aquinnah, which is pronounced that way, by the way, off of Man Hill. I have a little line, but I don't have my street on there. So, I mean, as long as someone's not looking for a newer development, they'll find their way there.
Or if they're looking for Nebraska Lane, they're never going to find it.
Don't start ordering pizzas from
No,
Nebraska
no.
Lane as a joke.
And Jerry, her picture's blurry. Her picture's blurry.
Jerry,
We got to get some clearer.
I'm gonna get in trouble. Jerry, don't watch this.
That's all right,
Please don't
Jerry.
access your-
We'll give him a little shout out. Thanks for finding that for us. That was under my radar.
A great tool, nonetheless.
Yes, there you go. Okay, we got much more coming up. Guess who's going to play Guess That Phrase? They're home. This is it. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting. You cannot mess this up. You know that. Your reputation's on the line.
But, people, there are list prices and actual selling prices. I'm just saying. So,
That's her
see.
trying. Oh, whatever. We'll find out how she does right after this. All right, welcome back to Weekly with Brianna T. Special guest Siobhan Hunter.
H doesn't rhyme.
I know, and I like that.
I say H, by the way.
Oh,
Oh,
still listening.
so she's playing along, like and having a good time.
Yeah, I am. I'll be back next week, whether you like me or not.
She may be smiling now, but there was a time
Not
she was not smiling. We're not going to discuss the episode, but we may have made many, many individuals upset with that episode. I mean, I still.
True, we got a lot of hate.
I still go to town hall, and some of those women look. I mean, I'm just like, ladies, come on. It was one time. It meant nothing.
It was one
meant nothing.
time.
It meant
We were
nothing.
banned on YouTube.
But we also happen to mention the Cedar Point residents, maybe about flood insurance, and that sort of set someone off. Here's exactly the email. Let me just give you these highlights. I was watching this episode. It was mentioned a few times that houses on Rebecca Road could only be paid for in cash, and they're not insurable. This is definitely not the case! Exclamation point. There are private flood insurance and FEMA programs. They are definitely insurable. I'm positive the folks of Cedar Point, and most importantly, the residents that are currently trying to sell their homes there would not appreciate this false statement being made. Just wanted to provide a little feedback.
So now that we know her, I can hear her saying.
Oh,
but
yeah,
at
you
the
know she
time-
was.
Yes, but you know what? In my defense, I use exclamation points a lot. In every email, that's one of my things. And I usually use 1 or 3, depending on...
3.
Yeah, I use them a
Also,
lot.
this was Cam's fault.
Well, and this, by the way,
Oh,
this,
yeah.
this even goes on, particularly when it could affect a Scituate resident's property value.
And also, I had
And the potential-
a listing on
Yes.
Cedar Point, coincidentally, at that time, and use it as the house.
I was going to
Home
say,
of
I
the
think we
week.
did that as a home of the week the next
Yeah, that
week.
was good.
As
That was good.
retribution.
But yes, we need to be clear because that's,
You're right.
for a lot of homes in Scituate,
Has that house sold?
yes. I think it was 4 days.
That's
Look at you.
because of
Hey,
us.
while we're talking while we're talking Cedar Point,
It was under agreement, but
I gotta-
I'll still give you credit.
I got to ask you about this.
Yes.
You know, they're getting a new sewer system over there. Now, if you're not familiar with the sewer system, the selectmen voted on one with the understanding that residents there would pay the difference, like an abatement. So there is an abatement coming to residents that are there, but we don't know how much this abatement is going to be. I mean,
Right,
the
and
bids
we
are
don't
out, and it could be huge. When you're selling a home there to potential buyers, how do you present this? Like, look, you may have a big...
Right. Well, if it depends on how they structure it. I'm hoping they're structuring it like a betterment. So then you're paying, a little bit at a time over 20
yes,
years.
yes.
Yeah.
And any time, as long as you put it up front in a listing and you talk about it at the very beginning, it's usually not an issue, especially if you can assume it, as the purchaser of the home. So it's spread out, it's not as painful, but I mean, overall, you're getting a better system. So a lot of people in Cohasset or Scituate, the betterments that they have now, they were tied into town sewer. And so they would rather be in town sewer than have a septic system. So over 20 years, it's not that painful. It's better for the property value because then you don't have to worry about how many bedrooms there are and getting Title V's done. So at the end of the day, it's not as painful. You just got to address it up front. That's the biggest thing. Of
course.
No surprises. No one likes surprises when it comes to real estate
Not at all.
transactions.
The sewer, by the way, is your sister involved with waste?
Yes.
Water?
Deirdre Bingman out in West
Deirdre.
Coast.
How did you know that?
I told you, I stalk people.
Stocks.
I'm worried.
In the healthy way. In the healthy way.
It's not even her
Everybody
name,
does
it's
it. What does she do?
Well, she's married.
Right.
Yes.
So then how did you make
Well, because I did a shout out, real estate
Oh,
page.
okay.
Right there.
He
Let's-
likes my page, by the way.
Let's talk about her family, by the way. Your first generation.
Yes.
Your parents, they have passed.
Yeah.
They came over here. You were born here, right?
I was born here, St. Margaret's
Wow.
in Dorchester, yep. So my dad was from Belfast, the Glen Road in Belfast. My mom was from Timoleague, West Cork, which we're sistered with, ironically. So West Cork, she went to school in Clonakilty, and then they came out here to get, jobs because jobs are pretty scarce in the late 60s. They met here through their immigration lawyer, and the rest is history.
Wow.
Wow, that's my new favorite story,
real
I
good.
think. I
Yes.
get news stories every week.
Oh, good. Write that one down.
I want to discuss something briefly that you said to me the other day. Is that so? My grandparents are Lithuanian, right? So they came over on a boat and everything like that,
Yeah.
and they started this new life in South Boston. Okay, and one thing that when they did this, growing up, they never sort of talked about what happened in the past. And you've
Exactly.
mentioned this before. You say your parents do not mention sort of like the homeland ever.
Well, so my dad would talk about his childhood more. My mom, for other reasons, wouldn't. So I think that's very generational. It's like the stuff, the struggles or hardships or things they don't really are necessarily proud of. Maybe they don't want to talk about it
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
But for me, it's important for everyone to know where you came from. The struggles are just as important as the celebration because it makes you who you are. So, I mean, I think it's important this generation going forward that we embrace it.
Right.
That's very well
for the-
said.
Thank you very much. So,
You mentioned West Cork. Let's talk about that briefly. West Cork, Scituate, the sister cities. If you don't know what that is, what is that? We have a sister city agreement.
yes, we're sistered, and they call it twinning in Ireland with the West Cork. So Scituate is a pretty large town compared to West Cork. So for us to pick a little town or village in Ireland in that area would be tough because they're smaller, they're like 4,000 max, in that area.
Tiny town.
So we took that whole, because, it doesn't make sense, city it's not really city. So we took that whole portion of Cork,
Oh, I see.
and that's why we're
great.
sistered with them. But they mirror us in a lot of ways with the lighthouses, the industry, with fishing and everything.
That's very cool.
And when you go over there, I think it reminds you of Scituate and vice versa. So
When we show into the video, we have some video of this too. I mean,
Yeah.
the
Yes.
similarities are
Yeah.
amazing. Real quick, with the sister city, we also have the student exchange. We have a student exchange
Yes.
program, right?
That's coming up 2020. So first the kids from Ireland will come here, and then we'll reciprocate. So they'll go out later on. But it's the first time. So we have halfway to St. Patrick's Day. That was last month. We raised some funds for the kids that are initially going out because, being one of those kids that couldn't go on Washington, D.C. trips or any of those things because my parents didn't have the funds, for me, it's personal to make sure everyone has that opportunity.
great.
So
That's great.
We
That is
raise those
great.
funds. And so they'll be able to, if they need help, if their family needs help, they can still participate in the program. So
That's great. One other thing I want to talk to you about is this. She's got a big project in the works. It's
Yes.
the Irish Heritage.
South Shore Heritage Trail. So, there's a lot of connections.
This is fast. This is a
Yes.
fantastic project.
So over in Ireland, they have the Wild Atlantic Way, and it's really it's put together well. And if you go to the website, it's amazing. You can plot out where you want to go. You can put how many days you're going to be there. All the hotels you need, restaurants, everything is there. So they bring you in for the sites, and they bring you in for everything else too. So, you also have the Freedom Trail in Boston. So this is kind of something we're kind of bringing to the South Shore, and there's going to be hopefully, a ton of towns involved. And we're kind of just connecting the dots. So we're just bringing in the Irish element, the Irish heritage, the Irish American heritage, and kind of what brought us to America today. The America that we know.
That's
You know,
great.
I
That's
love
great.
that.
A bunch of different nationalities that make us who we are. Indigenous People Day, by the way, we're going to give that, i.e. Columbus Day, Indigenous People Day. So
There you go.
I just got to say, yes.
Keep an eye. That project is amazing. We talked about it. Just hopefully this does happen.
And it's good for the kids to know.
Absolutely.
So it's good for cultural, just to know where you are. A lot of people don't even know the history that we have
true.
here. So
It's true. All right, Siobhan, you ready? It's time. It's time for that home of the week. We play a little game called Guess That Price. How it works if you're just tuning in. We pick a home currently on the market here in Scituate, and then our guest Siobhan today is going to try to guess that price. But you know what? We realized she probably knows this market and probably knows all the home. So Brianna, where's our home of the week this week?
So this week we are taking a trip across the pond to
Yes.
Skibbereen in Cork. So if I pronounce
Perfect.
things wrong, don't send me hate mail. Okay,
All right. Tell us about this home.
so wonderful architect-designed residence overlooking the Atlantic Hannahs.
beautiful.
Delightfully rare home in a superb location on the south side of the Castle Townshend. I think that's right.
Townsend?
Sure, there's an H in there, but we'll go with that.
Do you want me to-
Coast Road, located privately behind the attractive walls and electronic cedar wood gates. Unique design captures the stunning vistas of the Atlantic Ocean, the rugged coastline, and the equally beautiful surrounding countryside. Only 700 meters to the Skibbereen Eagle Pub and the Tragumna Blue Flag Beach. We're gonna go with that.
Sure.
Castletown Send. Sure, we'll go with short. Coast Road from Tragumna is one of the most sought after and spectacular locations on the West Cork coastline. The Hannahs were built in 2010. Quality finish throughout, alongside the tasteful interior design, complement the home's rare location. Combination that is sure to provoke the interest of the discerning buyer.
This
But-
is beautiful.
right. I thought so
It's
too.
amazing.
Holy, does it mention how much land there is?
I'm
Because
sure
I'm
it does.
calculating up
I
here.
just stopped reading halfway through. It has parking for 5 to 6 cars, walking distance to the beach, one of the safest harbors on the coastline, ideal for all types of water sport.
But does it need flood insurance?
It is a
That's the
4-bedroom
picture.
home.
Wow.
Yeah, it
all
doesn't.
good.
I mean, if this is a bargain, I'm moving. Just kidding, Scituate.
I know. I was gonna
Are you
say.
going to ask me in euro or?
We're gonna do both. We're gonna do both. Where do you want to start? How do you want to start? You ready? You ready?
Just like math, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
We've
We don't
got, okay,
like
you do it, you do it in US,
Yeah,
and then we'll show you the conversion.
All right,
So,
Yeah.
So I'm assuming maybe it's an acre.
It doesn't say,
Oh, dang it.
unfortunately.
How about
choose wisely. This is your
Beautiful.
reputation.
It just says a good-sized grassed yard.
I think that's a technical term.
It is,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's got ocean views. I mean,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is
This is
beautiful.
stunning.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna
That.
say
Choose wisely.
$749.9.
$749.
That's U.S.
in US.
dollars.
Yes.
Okay.
Brianna, you ready?
Yes.
What is that price?
$936,541 US dollars.
Oh, I was closer to euro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at
800
that.
euro. 1,000 euro.
But that is beautiful.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
I thought so too.
Wow, I gotta go to Hennessy's and play more Lotto. Mega Bucks is coming up.
Here you go. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was good.
Well done.
You
Well
threw
done.
me. You threw me on that.
We were ready for you. We were ready for you. Let's give you a little shout out here. Real estate. What are you? What's your website?
ShavonRealty.com. I didn't think I'd get that one, but I did.
ShavonRealty.com.
Yeah,
that's good, yeah.
Make sure you go check it out. Check out her open houses. Say hi
Yes.
to her.
Yes.
Keep an eye on her. She's a woman around town too. You'll see her at a lot of events. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. This
We'll have
is
to have you back.
Good.
love to come
Absolutely.
back.
There you go. Brianna T. Siobhan Hunter, Seth P. We'll see you next week.